Notice was sent to the Morris County Clerk and the clerks of the municipalities comprising the regional district, the Observer Tribune, the Daily Record, and the Star Ledger. Notice was also posted in the District Administration Building, West Morris Central High School, West Morris Menning High School, and on the West Morris Regional website. Mr. Button, present. Mrs. Forrester.
Here.
Mr. Galida. Here. And Mrs. Gilmet. Mr. Johnston. Here. Mr. Lobron. Here. Mr. Meyer. Here. Mr. Bashar. Here. Mr. Schramm. Here. Madison Allworth.
Present.
And Charles Durkin. Here. We do have a quorum.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the February 7th board meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Dave.
Second.
Thank you, Dave. Discussion. I would like to note that on page 5729, the motion to go into executive session also included negotiations. There we had amended it. Maybe it was included in the amendment, so it doesn't need to be reflected in the minutes.
It's in minutes at the bottom of page 57.
What does it say? Did it say that I missed that?
Yeah, it's the last sentence.
Oh, okay. It's down at the bottom. All right, thank you. Any other discussion? Jackie?
On page 57, there are minutes, 50. Do you have to say who left the room?
That's in the executive session. That's part of the executive session.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. We're going to present the budget tonight to the board for submission to the county superintendent. So I'll turn it over to Jackie.
Yes, the Board of Education members tonight have received the tentative budget for 2011-12. The Finance Committee just went over it in our Finance Committee meeting just before this meeting. For the most part, you'll notice that compared to last year, a lot of the line items have decreases. Not all, but some of the increases are significant in terms of percentage. Some of the decreases are significant in terms of percentage, although they may not be significant in terms of dollars. Vice versa, there may be some slight increases, although they may or may not be significant in terms of percentage, depending on the numbers. Overall, we have a decrease from last year. The general fund total is a minus 0.05%. The total budget will have an increase of only 0.57%. I don't know if those of you that aren't on the Finance Committee have an opportunity to perform these questions. If you have, you can ask me at any time. Doug, is there anything you want to highlight about appropriations at this time?
Other than, I would just like, everybody on the board to know that this document that was distributed to the board members tonight represents all of the appropriations. There's over 2,700 items in here that the board, the Finance Committee reviewed. There's 665 different accounts that have been affected by the budget process. So I would say that the Finance Committee was very thorough in looking at every item that goes into the budget this year. So on this document here, which has the resolution, which came to you in the form of a blank, because we had just gotten the state aid numbers as of late Wednesday. We didn't have time to incorporate those numbers in the state software package before the distribution of the board packet to the members. So as a result, you have this in front of you tonight with the blanks filled in, which reflect the information that Jackie just presented to you, which is the total budget is $47,631,191. And what you find attached to the pink are the actual pages that will get submitted to the county. There's about 22 other support documents that will go along with this. a fairly thick package, but this represents the revenues and the appropriations that went into the development of the 11-12 budget.
So are you saying that the state figures that you got are now incorporated in? Or?
Yes, they are.
They are.
They're included in what we're asking for approval for tonight.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
This budget will result in a tax increase of just under 0.5%, although we are allowed to go up. We feel after, especially after last year, when we saved just under half and the budget was defeated, that indicated perhaps an unwillingness to pay the cap amount. So we worked hard this year to keep it under cap, significantly under cap, hoping that our taxpayers will appreciate the efforts we've made.
At first glance, looks like an absolutely great budget. Does anybody know the status of the law that's threatened as far as advertising for board meetings and stuff? Does that come through both houses and been signed, or is that still? Things like board meetings, that currently we have to publish in publications. I know that's on the agenda. I know it's not a lot of money, but that's actually money that if that law passes, we no longer have to advertise.
That's one of the papers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's actually specifically, it's Stone Committee.
You may recall that we had budget directives from the administration to the staff to keep spending down 10% from last year, to budget for 10% to the best of our abilities. That's why we have so many decreases. I'm sorry.
No, that's shaking your head.
You're looking at me like my, just wanted to make sure. Lots of the door, hard work and everything.
Tentative budget. And it will go forward to
Full approved submission to the county superintendent.
and then we will still have a budget presentation at the next meeting, when we do the actual budget presentation, with the PowerPoint, etc., to the public.
Yeah, so this is the budget that, assuming it gets passed here, does it then go on to the community to vote on?
First it goes to the county superintendent who has to approve our budget. If this is approved in its entirety, then this exact same budget would go forward to the voters.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. And I'd like to open the meeting to the public for questions or comments. Please limit your questions or comments to 5 minutes or less. And if you have additional comments, you can always submit them in writing. Anybody have any questions or comments? Yes, Scott.
Carol Brady, Manning I was just wondering if you had an idea, since the expected class of next year is going to be an additional section, if that allows for staff increases?
We did try to balance the additional state aid that we received. We tried to balance that between class size and relief and taxpayer relief. So, yes.
Excuse me, Steve Satterfield from Broadmoor Valley. I was here at the last meeting. I'd like to congratulate the fencing team, boys and girls from both Central and Mendham. They competed in the state championships over the weekend. They all did very well, including Maddie. Her team came through over the weekend. was here regarding parking over at Central last week, last meeting, which was several weeks ago, and I want to thank you, Mr. Muscatello called me within a few days after the meeting. I had the exact same conversation with him that I had with the other gentleman who actually runs parking for Central, and they went into how there are children who have sports obligations with the school, sports obligations outside of the school, work obligations outside of the school, church obligations outside of the school, etc. All those options are optional, chosen by the parents, and the parents, by choosing those things, have agreed or taken it upon themselves to get their children through those functions. One group that doesn't, and this is why I was here last, is the people who live too close to get busing. We made the decision to save the money. Right? As I said last time, I agree with the decision. We need to save money wherever we can. But by making that decision, there's a second part of that, which is that you are not providing a means to get the children to the school. And what I'm asking for is assistance with that, just getting them to the school. The discussion that each of those gentlemen had with me regarding outside extracurricular activities for school, extracurricular activities that have nothing to do with school, it's a separate subject. That is a decision by them. And they also each mentioned that if they received a decision from someone above them, implication being this board, that they would follow through with that decision. And if that decision were a policy to provide parking for the children who are out or inside the 2 mile radius or whatever, 2.5 mile radius, whatever that is, that they would follow it, obviously. Now, last time I was here, as you said that there was a distinction to be drawn between Mendham High School and Central because there isn't enough parking in Mendham. Well, sure, there are a lot of things that are different between the two schools, not the least of which is the beginning of the policy could be that as soon as we've met all of the senior requests for parking, then we start working on juniors.